Welcome, everybody. I'm Walt Higgins, President and CEO of the Ascendant Group, and delighted to have you here today. On this Earth Day, we are very pleased to welcome Minister of the Environment and Planning, Sylvan Richards, to our headquarters, as well as Permanent Secretary Derek Binns. Also with us today are Drew Pettit, Director of Conservation Services, Conservation Officer Jeremy Medeiros, and J.P. Ruja of Look Bermuda. It is very fitting that on Earth Day, the Ascendant Nonsuch Island project is ready to announce that after several years of research and planning, we are ready to launch the Cahow CAM project that will give everyone a close look inside the burrows that exist on Nonsuch Island's nature reserve. This is the latest development in the Ascendant Nonsuch Island project, which is a 10-year, $500,000 partnership between Ascendant Group and the Department of Conservation Services. And this project is to continue and preserve and improve Nonsuch Island. This year, we are funding Look Bermuda's installation of custom-built Cahow cams, and you'll hear more about that in a few minutes, on the island. And J.P. Ruja will tell you all about how the cameras work. For our part, Ascendant Group is delighted to support this innovative project. This project represents a tremendous opportunity for scientists, as well as students, birders, as I've learned they're called, birding enthusiasts, and all who care about Bermuda's unique natural heritage. In fact, we hope that the Cahow cams will capture the imagination of people outside of Bermuda who may then become interested, if for no other reason, than to visit the island to see our beautiful birds. Minister Richards, perhaps you'd like to say a few words, and then JP is going to show us how the cameras work. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here on this Earth Day to reveal this new technological instrument that will allow people from all around the globe to go online and to see our Cahows, which is the national bird of Bermuda, in their burrows as they're being hatched. It's a first of a kind for Bermuda. I think that website is going to get a lot of hits, so I'm very pleased as the Minister of the Environment to be here today to roll out this inauguration of the Cahow webcam. One of the priorities of the Ministry of Environment and Planning is to protect and preserve Bermuda's national park system. We do this not only for our enjoyment, but also to ensure that our current and future generations get to experience Bermuda's truly unique natural wonders in an ever-developing world. The internationally renowned Living Museum on Nonsuch Island encapsulates much of Bermuda's original natural beauty, while its isolation helps protect many of the rare species that make Bermuda unique. Once a lush island of the last centuries, it was denuded of all vegetation due to weather, development, the Bermuda cedar blight, and several other factors. However, today, after decades of dedicated restoration, it is now one of the best representations of Bermuda's native forests and is home to critically endangered species, including the skink, the longtail, the solitary bee, the hermit crab, and most notably, Bermuda's national bird, the Cahow. The Cahow is one of the rarest seabirds on Earth, rediscovered in 1951 after having been thought extinct for 300 years. Today, we have 104 breeding pairs that nest in burrows on Nonsuch Island and several surrounding islands in the Castle Island chain. Nonsuch Island continues to be an inspiring conservation success story that is the envy of many countries. Introducing Nonsuch Island to as many people as possible, specifically our young people, is extremely important. However, the health of this natural refuge is very fragile, and there is a very real risk that the experiment could be destroyed due to its limited carrying capacity and inadvertent introduction of invasive species. This challenge has been overcome with the Cahow CAM, an innovative technological solution developed in partnership with the Department of Conservation Services, the Ascendant Group of companies, Look Bermuda, and Northrop Communications. Using this customized camera system powered by solar energy, footage will be streamed live to the internet and available for everybody to experience. The Cahow Cam provides a long-awaited opportunity to study these precious seabirds that spend most of their lives far out in the open ocean, returning to land only to breed in the spring and fall. Already, ecologists are documenting never-before-seen aspects of behavior from the hatching of a chick through the first weeks of life of a new Cahow. As an educational tool, the Cahow Cam project was conceived as a means of streaming the best of Nonsuch Island straight into the classroom via the internet, thereby overcoming the difficulty of getting tours onto Nonsuch Island, which are often canceled due to bad weather. The Cahow Cam system is designed to be very adaptable and will be used to film not only the Cahow, but the longtail, the skink, as well as other wildlife around the island's pond. The Cahow Cam will also serve as enticement for the huge international interest in bird watching. There are over 1 million members of the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds in the UK and over 65 million bird watchers in America. Bird watching tourism is globally a growing business, which Bermuda has recently started to derive the benefits of. As such, on behalf of the Ministry of the Environment and Planning and the Department of Conservation Services, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the Ascendant Group of companies and their active volunteers, Look Bermuda and Northrop Communications, for their commitment to the preservation of the environment, their support for this unique project, and to Nonsuch Island Nature Reserve. This project demonstrates the true power of collaboration. The Cahow Cam is the latest in a number of important initiatives to support the management of Nonsuch Island. The Ascendant Nonsuch Island Project Partnership, which started in 2010, has produced numerous improvements for the island. Ascendant has funded the purchase of a new Boston whaler for use by conservation services, new signage, utilities, and development of a mini museum display. The company's employees have contributed hours of work as volunteers, assisting with projects that range from clearing invasive plant species, painting, and also readying the property for installation of a new solar power system. Thank you.
Hi, I'm J.P. Ruja from Look Bermuda, and I would like to thank all the people who've made this project possible, including David Wingate, who set the groundwork for this, and Jerry Odiris and his team, who have been supporting everything else going on in Nonsuch for the last few years. I would also like to thank Drew Pettit and Conservation Services, and of course the sponsors, Ascendant Group and Northrop Communications. When we started this project, there were several challenges that we faced, and one was that Nonsuch doesn't have power and doesn't have internet access, and we wanted to find a way of showing what goes on in the Cahow burrows, which itself is a challenge because they nest in rabbit-like burrows completely underground in pitch black, so there was no way of filming them or accessing them without disturbing them. So what we decided to do was, before the breeding season would start, we would install these 4-inch PVC pipes in the burrows that we thought might get occupied, and then leave them ready and empty so that once the burrow was occupied and it did have chicks, that we could then come and install the cameras. And now what we have done is we've developed a camera system which is fully contained basically in a tray that fits within a 4-inch pipe. So at the front we have a camera modified to be infrared sensitive to an infrared spectrum that is completely invisible to the birds, because we didn't want to bother the birds or disturb their life, basically. So we had to custom build, we modified the cameras, and then we custom built custom LED lights that transmit basically military-grade infrared spectrum that is completely invisible to the human eye and to the bird eye. So this then gets installed in the pipe inside the burrows, and once this is installed, it allows you to see what's going on in the nests. At the moment, we're we're recording archival footage of the process, and as soon as the solar power is installed on Nonsuch, we'll be streaming 24/7 off the island. So basically, what's gonna happen is through the live stream player that we already have installed on the website, you'll be able to view what's going on in the nests on a 24/7 basis, and this will then migrate into the long-tail nests after the Cahow season, etc. This system basically allowed us to go where filmmakers have never been able to go before, because every time currently when you want to film a Cahow, you have to open the nest up, you stick your head in or stick your camera in, and that disturbs them. But this allows a completely unobtrusive way of filming them all through this system. Additionally, what it allows is Jeremy and his team to walk around the island with either iPads or iPhones, and through Wi-Fi they can look into the nest and see the signal coming off the cameras and actually control the cameras remotely. So they are able to observe firsthand, while they're right next to it, through Wi-Fi, exactly what's going on, which has never been possible before either. At the moment we have 3 cameras, but we're looking to expand it as needed. The next step of the process is we're actually adding motion triggers to the system, so that, for instance, when the challenge with the cows is the chick sits alone for 2-3 days at a time, the parents come back for an hour every 2-3 days to feed them. So to be able to film that process, you either have to be sitting out there the whole time or have a system like this that allows it to be captured. So what we're now doing is we're adding motion sensors to the front of the burrows, so when the parents come back, we'll be able to capture them feeding for the first time, which has never happened. Actually, the day we were actually testing the cameras, we actually filmed the hatching of an egg, which has never ever been seen before, never mind filmed. So all that was captured just at the very beginning of the process, so we've already accomplished everything we'd hoped. So it's just a bonus from this point forward.
And it's the same cameras that are going to be used to film with the different species on that?
Yes. So basically, the cameras may change as technology changes. None of this was possible 2-3 years ago, and we knew what we wanted to do, and the technology had to catch up. And finally, cameras came out that could be modified in the way we wanted. We've now modified them. We'll upgrade those if something better comes along, but at the moment, this is the best thing we found. Basically, anywhere you could install a 4-inch pipe, be it a long-tail nest, a giant lad crab burrow, whatever it might be, then you can insert the cameras as needed. And that's the idea.
How many cameras will actually be visible on the website at any given time?
The live stream allows one live stream that you switch between, and we'll, as producers, will be able to switch between the cameras at a control level.
Bermuda, actually, it's got over 300 different species that have been recorded here, and there's only about 25 or so that are here year-round, that are breeding here on the island and such, and all the others are basically they're feathered tourists to the island. They're migrants that come here in September, October, and then they'll literally stay here for the next 6 to 7 months. So they're basically spending half their life here, and Bermuda is the most northerly area in the world where a lot of these species can be found during the winter months. The rest of them are going down to South America and Central America. So it's very advantageous for particularly birders from Europe to come here. It's a much shorter trip, more or less, and because our forest is much smaller and lower in stature, it's much easier to see the birds here than it is in a rainforest where they might be 150 feet off the ground. So we actually do have groups that are coming in already. There's a group due to come in November when the Cahows return, specifically to see the Cahows, but the attraction for them is that they can also see all these other migrant birds, which are beautiful. You know, the North American wood warblers, there's over 30 different species that can winter here in Bermuda. And if you know where to look and just go out with a pair of binoculars, you can find these quite easy in Bermuda. You just have to look for a patch of forest. So there's a real, I think, untapped potential for bringing visitors in, and these are people that are generally very, very passionate about bird watching, and they're willing to spend a good amount of money to come here, stay in our hotels and such, and do that. And as I said, there are groups from England that are already set up to come here in November, specifically to see the Cahow and the other birds spending the winter on the islands. Well, no, we still have, I mean, we're literally saturated with tours. We have about 60 to 65 tours a year. That's, you know, it works out during the busy months to several a week. But because Nonsuch is so small, every tour that comes out, you know, there's a potential of bringing seeds that are stuck to the pants or shoelaces or things stuck in the, you know, the treads of your boots. There is a certain risk there. So what we've really done is we've really focused in on using Nonsuch for research and for environmental education. So the bulk of the tours that presently come out to the island are educational groups, school groups, and last year, for example, there were over 1,600 students that came to Nonsuch Island for tours, and a good number of them were able to actually see Cahows. But obviously, when you take them out of the nest, there is a certain disturbance and such, and so we're a bit concerned. We really can't increase it much over, but this really gives us the potential to literally spread that to millions of people rather than a few thousand, because it's only a 15-acre island. So, you know, on the world scale, it's quite small.
No, I haven't, but I do plan to take a tour fairly recently. In fact, I was discussing that with another gentleman. So that's going to be arranged, and I'm eager to get over there and see all the good work that has been done.
As a young person, thinking back to that age,
Right.
what impression did Nonsuch Island give you?
I guess the first impression made on me was looking around and saying, well, this is what Bermuda was like, you know, when the first humans landed on the island. We're so developed now as a country, it's very rare to find open spaces that haven't been developed. So that was the first thing that struck me. I had a very imaginative imagination back then, I still do. And that's what struck me, just how, I guess, natural it was, and what Bermuda would have been like for the first settlers who ventured on shore.
So one thing that needs to be said is the groundbreaking work that Jeremy and his team have been doing out there is from a management point of view, is really making a difference for these birds. And just like the film we did 2 years ago, we're hoping that this technology that we've put together will also be able to be used and be shared by other destinations and other places that are having similar management problems with similar species. So we're hoping this will help elsewhere around the world as well.